So we'll get stuck in. First and foremost, I've got a few little introductions to new members who are in the group. There's not very many this week, so that's fine. But let's welcome a little welcome section to our new members in the community. Everyone is away for a few seconds. Sonny, Gordon, and Lee, welcome to the community. Hit me up if you want these on replay. Attend them live. We can't force you, but we have a good time when we're here. So come along and attend. The value in these seminars is good. It's good. But anyway, we're going to get into it. Come along. Welcome to the community, and I'll speak to you soon. Let's get stuck in, guys. So today we're going to talk about that topic which I just said, which was business, building belief, basically, and confidence within yourself for businesses. But what we will do before that is I just want to do a reminder for which I did put in the written check-ins about Christmas. So Tarkin, this will be your first. Suzanne, Kelly, this will be your first. Jono, I'm not sure if it will be, you're going to be your first. Alex is going to be different. Charmaine is going to be different. Tane, no, but we couldn't really thrive because we had no leverage last time. So Christmas time is the busiest time for PTs, guys. The busiest time. People like Nathan that have been working with me a while, Michael, these guys know that we've done this a few times. We've got an amendment to a strategy that we did last year, but anyway, I'll get into that. There is a Facebook group. Keep your eyes out for a Facebook group invitation if you're not already in there. I will be adding you in, and it's called the Christmas Marketing Marathon. And basically, we're going to generate a lot of leads. I like to give people a lot of time to prepare because, Suzanne, we don't celebrate Christmas in October, even though you thought that we celebrated it super early. She's like, when do you guys celebrate Christmas? I was like, don't worry, we're not that twisted down here. We do celebrate in December, but I want to give people time to prepare, basically. And if you can, just put some cash away if you need to with cash flow and budgeting, because yeah, it's advantageous. As much as possible. I think if you were to put $50, $100 or whatever a week away between now and about 6 weeks time, you'll have enough. You know, $300 to $600 is okay. It's okay. But anyone that doesn't need it, just be prepared to take things bigger and better than ever before. And it is literally that simple. So I'm looking forward to it. Christmas as well, all the marketing. So we're pretty much revisiting last year's stuff, but doing one new strategy, which will be a tweak on the Christmas cards. So Nath, you're the only person I talked to about this so far. But yeah, one strategy we're binning, but I might tweak it. Guys, all I can say to you and anyone watching this as well, this time of year, like if it's freaking October, if I'm giving people this amount of fucking head start, there's no reason why you should not be exploding and generating a shit ton of leads at Christmas. The only reason I'm doing this now, like each year over the last 3 years, since we've made a big ordeal about Christmas and done it with this group format, I'm giving people more and more and more time because people just don't move. A lot of people don't move, but you guys here take action. But the people that are new, just be prepared to move at Christmas. Christmas time, it will slow down in terms of signups a little bit, but it ramps up in terms of lead gen so that you walk into New Year's, because as soon as those clocks hit 12, right? And people have shots and they pop another bottle of champagne or whatever, they fucking start getting depressed. That morning when they wake up with a hangover is the morning they have to fucking start changing. If you haven't got leads at that time, you're behind. Worst thing you could ever do is people always say, oh yeah, I just want to like start lead generation and, you know, I'll start in Jan. You've already missed a fucking boat. If you start in Jan, you've missed a boat. You need to lead generate because people are thinking about their New Year's resolutions before New Year. So we start before New Year, before Christmas, and we ramp it up so that we can hit people fresh in Jan. Make sense, guys? Yeah. Be prepared, put some money aside, get pumped. Everything is going to be through the Facebook group as we did last year. I've also got family over this year, so it's a way in which I can help you guys because we're using the similar same strategies and some similar content. I can pump it out, and we can all spend time with loved ones a little bit more rather than doing brand new content. Another little tip as well for you guys coming up to Christmas: now is the time I would start to think about, we do a principle called earn and burn. Anyone not know what earn and burn principle means? Cool. So earn and burn principle, I never made this a real big thing last year, but this year is going to be, again, this is, you could tell I wanted to do a Christmas webinar, can't you? I've like completely changed the subject. But anyway, earn and burn principle. People that do 3 sessions a week with you up until this point, right? Or all the time. Earn and burn is this. You keep your debits rolling through Christmas. Great to see you, Jack. You keep the debits rolling through Christmas, right? Train more in the build up to Christmas so they earn their consumption of calories, right? And then after Christmas, they burn those calories off by doing more training. So for example, someone wants to put their debits on hold for 3 weeks. They're doing 3 sessions a week. That's 9 sessions worth, right? You can start doing, right, 4 weeks before that, right, an extra session per week. 4 weeks after Christmas, an extra session per week. Their debits never stop. They keep going. And therefore, they're working harder before Christmas and working harder after, so that they have earned the calories that they're going to consume and then burn them off afterwards. Does that make sense? Does anyone not understand the principle? Just ask. You got a question, Sue? No? You good? So that's cool. So do earn and burn. Think about early stages of earn and burn. I will be doing a lot more Christmas stuff towards the time, but now being a month out before starting point, I want you guys to start thinking about it. Because the more prepared we are, the better we're going to do. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to pause their debits, right? Some people are going to want some time off. So if anyone starts talking to you about wanting to do this, you can talk about, well, look, we do a principle called the earn and burn. So what we do is this: you take the time off, but what we're going to do is do more sessions before and more sessions after, and that's it. Suzanne, I can see.
Yeah. Do you, so with these sessions, are we getting paid more, or we just give them for?
No, so basically, this is the only downside about the earn part of it. So you say that if they want 2 weeks off over Christmas, because a lot of people will want time off. Last year, I think as well, is when we were coming out of lockdown. Was that right, guys? In Australia, that's the country we live in, right? So people were traveling all over the place. So a lot of people wanted to go and spread their wings for the first time. So when people want to go away, you've got to tell them, like, look, we'll do the earn and burn principle, but your debits are staying continuous throughout Christmas, right? And that's what happens. Because again, you don't want people to go back. If people remove themselves from their business right at Christmas and shut it off, I've never seen it ever end positively, ever, never, ever. Sherry, we were talking about this. Good to see you as well, Sherry. Yeah, never, ever. If I've ever seen someone take like a long period of time off, like 3 weeks, all of their clients' debits stop. They come back and expect everyone to be there. No way. Not through a time where people go and consume a shit ton of calories. And they go drink a shit ton of alcohol if that's their thing, and they celebrate. A lot of people come back in, like, after Christmas unmotivated, right? Unmotivated. So just be careful. But yeah, you can tell people about it now. Their debits stay continuous as normal the whole time. You don't increase their debits now, Sue. They just stay consistent, so you guys get paid through Christmas. And then after Christmas, you do the burning sessions, and then it will end up breaking even. Do you know what I mean? Any other questions about that, guys? But basically, be on top of this. So anyone that wants to start saying about Christmas, blah, 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 you can use that principle with them. We do have Christmas time hold forms and a lot of special forms for Christmas as well, so that people can lock in their slots, but they're already committing to coming back after Christmas. Because a lot of people, like I said, they get unmotivated and they go backwards. So we've got all this stuff in the future, but I'm pre-framing it. And that's about that. Any other questions about Christmas?
Yes, me. Sorry. First of all, sorry I'm late. I had to go and get a coffee because we had crazy people outside our house at 3 a.m. with a flashing light trying to go through our hard rubbish collection. I just wanted to share that because I thought that was funny. But anyway, back to the business side of things at Christmas, similar to what I've told you, Simon, I'm sure other people are in a similar boat to me. initially I was like, okay, I'm going to put clients online for 3 weeks. And then I thought, okay, look, this is also going to cause a lot of drama. So they're happy to do online for the 2 weeks over Christmas. And then now I've said to everyone, look, who would like to train in the week starting the 6th of Jan, which is that sort of normal week that people start to get back into the swing of things and sort of take in interest from that. So then the people that want to commit to that will, everyone else has 2 weeks off and they're so far happy with that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So like, there's no problem at all, guys, as well. We'll delve into this nearer the time. We'll make this half Christmas and half the other topic that I didn't want to do today. Yeah.
What was the other topic?
Let me have a look here. Most people voted for, I think it was a close split, and there wasn't many people who voted.
Building confidence in business.
That's right. Building business confidence and self-confidence, which is really important. But I just want to shine some light on Christmas stuff. What you said there, Sherry, is perfect. Like, if people want to take time off, they can, right? So all you want to say to people is like, look, that's fine, no problem whatsoever. We have a special hold form so that they lock in their slots in the new year. Because I'm telling you, the reason why we do this, guys, if you're face-to-face, right, and you don't have the luxury of like what Alex has being online, so he doesn't need to worry about time slots, right? They will get snapped up. You are all going to see big business growth in Jan, right? Because of how many leads we have. And I'm even looking forward, like Nath, like you, in being in like more locations now, bigger locations than what we were last year. It's going to be huge. And a lot of you guys have got a lot of members that we can tap into. So it's going to be busy. So you need people to commit to coming back to those sessions. Otherwise they get billed for you holding those sessions that they don't want to come back to because they're not motivated, right? That's what we do. But yeah, no, it's all good. Well said, Sherry. But that's about it. We're going to have more Christmas specific stuff coming around the corner. All right. Any other questions? We good? Nath, I can't help but think you remind me of that guy who was like, on Monday, we do arms. Has anyone seen that guy who does that the video? He's like, Monday, we do arms, right? Because if you want your chicken dinner on or whatever it is, right? Anyone know what I'm talking about? Is that Charmaine? You know what I'm talking about here? No? Am I just talking shit? Todd,
Not gonna lie, that kind of caught me off guard. I've never heard that from you.
I know who you're on about.
Know the guy I'm talking about.
Robert Frank.
Yes, Robert Frank. You know what I'm talking about. Nate, do you know who this guy is?
Yeah, the guy that always swears and does the video recordings in his truck, in his car.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
reckon.
Yeah.
Big tattooed. Yeah.
Yeah, and now he always talks about picking up chicks.
Thanks, Simon. No, that was very, very funny. Very good.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, I'm not even trying to be funny, but it just shows that Facebook is working. It makes me think of that guy whenever I see someone who looks similar to him. The algorithms are working well. Anyway, talking shit. Let's get stuck in. Okay. Building business belief, right? Where do we start? I have no notes because I don't need them for this. It's basically free for all, guys. I want people to just basically talk about this. Put your hand up if you have anything that you're doing right now that provides you with resistance, whether it's in life or in business. 2 people. That's bullshit. The 3, 4. Okay, fine. There you go. Now people put their hands up, right? So there's 2 people here. There's 2 people. 2 people that I can be honest, and I'm going to share their names, that I don't think they have any resistance, although one maybe a little bit, right? Tarkin doesn't have any resistance. He just does, right? We're going to talk about this. Tarkin, remember our messages this morning? And I just said to you about we were going to talk about it. I might bring it up. I'm going to use Tarkin as an example. So Tarkin's only been with us for a couple of months or so, right? Something like that. And Tarkin has 0 resistance. He reminds me of Matt Dart. Right, very, very similar to Matt in terms of like his execution and just goes right, strength to strength to strength. The other person is Rob with his beard and his hood, right? I don't know what his second name is. What was his name? Second name, Michael, Rob, whatever. Okay, he does arms. Nathan, his name. Oh, that's right. There he is, Nathan. Nathan also executes, right? We've been working with each other for a long time, though. There has been a lot of resistance over the years. So what I'm going to do is talk about it like this. Nathan, we had a lot of resistance with a lot of things, right? A lot of learning curves, a lot of things that we went through, and now we're in a position where you can sit there and act like the Don of that, of which you are. But look, through resistance comes reward of being able to be in a position where there is none. Occasionally, you'll find that nothing scares you, and that's not really normal, right? But Tarkin, for a young dude, he has a very unique set of skills that it just doesn't, nothing seems to faze him, from what I'm seeing anyway. Let's start off by talking about this with Tarkin. Right? So we'll start at the top. Do you find anything, like, I'm just firing stuff at you, bro, you're executing, right? It's not normally that easy, man, for me, I'm telling you. Normally I have to break down walls, I have to, you know, overcome a lot of stuff when providing people with advice. Is there any resistance with anything at all? Are you a human being or are you a robot?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely have resistance with things in life, but I was watching your and Matt's conversation, and he kind of said best thing he did was just back you, and because you've worn the shirt and it's worked for him, so I just act upon whatever you say, and it seems to be working.
Look, I think, and without going off topic too much, because it's not about that. What I'm not going to get into here is like, you should just do as I say. But that's what Matt says, and that's what Matt is right. Like, obviously, if you've got a mentor, listen to them, execute. But it's natural that people have resistance, right? It's really, really, really natural. Really natural. Yeah. I think, so with Sherry, so her camera's off at the moment, but Sherry had resistance, you know, recently about leverage, right? And the excuses, right? We don't have to talk about them, but one of them was a cracker. I'd like, can I actually bring it up?
Yes, you can. I have no issues with that. I think I just have my really not dumb moments. I have a Cherie's overthinking yet again moment, which probably happens about once every 3 weeks, which I can fully own up to. I think I just need to, it's not learning to trust the process. I think I just need to back myself and be able to take that risk without thinking of worst case scenario, you know, and just be like, fuck it.
What, honestly, well said. Like, so well said. Like, nothing that we're going to get to this cracker, because I had to laugh when I heard this excuse. It was one of the best I've ever heard. But like, what you've got to realize is where there is no resistance, there is no reward. So realistically, everybody should be feeling resistance. You should be feeling it. If you're not feeling it, you're not in the right place, or we're not doing things big enough for you, right? We're not doing things big enough for you that you're able to handle, that don't scare you enough so that you're going to get bigger rewards. Now with Sherry, so we're talking about leveraging. So Sherry, again, has only been with us a few months, so it's a relatively new client. Ran our first marketing strategy, got return on investment straight away, as we do. And then from there, it's like, look, we got to leverage, right? And obviously leveraging and thinking of hiring your first staff and things like that, it can be quite daunting. I mean, Michael, it took us a year before we hired our first staff after I talked about doing it. We stayed still for 2 years before.
That was because of the knobhead owner of the gym.
That is correct. There was a lot of other resistance there, right? So basically, look, I mean, there is resistance, but if you don't move and execute when there is resistance, you'll find you can get very, very stood still and stuck, and therefore there'll be no progression. So Sherry said to me, she goes, Simon, right, so it was the day after we spoke, and this stuff is fine. Like, it's not like, it's normal, but I have a giggle, because for me, I don't really feel much resistance. Like I said, that box of that consulting thing that I've never opened, he told me one useful thing: nothing scares you, right? Not worth doing. Scares you means you should be doing it, right? Sherry said, so Simon, I've just spoken to one of my friends. She thinks there's a recession coming next year, right? Which means I don't know whether it would be the right time to leverage my business, right? How do you think that makes me feel, right? It's like, that just reconfirms there's resistance. That's all it is. Recession. Like, we're talking about Australia here. Australia has not been in a bad place, period. As long as I've been here. Look, I mean, the worst thing that happens to this country is getting fires and floods. There's not really anything that financially impacts this place. Like COVID, personally, didn't even dent the economy. They went into a recession in Melbourne or somewhere, but they came out of it within a month or something. Everything's going from strength to strength. Recessions and obviously cost of living and all this sort of stuff. these are examples of when something scares you, right? Where again, resistance equals reward. That being scared is going to make you grow. You've never been there before. It's going to make you grow. They're the type of natural excuses that people have that you guys will deal with in the gym. Yeah, I'd love to be able to afford $50 a week, but shit, Corona just put their prices up. The beer, Corona, put their prices up. VB will go. VB put their prices up per carton by $10. Can't afford it. What the fuck are you talking about, right? You prioritize, you can afford what you prioritize, right? It's that simple. Like, so where there is resistance, there is reward. Now, in terms of, this is where I need you guys, because honestly, I can't prepare for anything like this, because I naturally don't get scared by anything. When there's resistance, I charge at it. That's what I do. And it's not natural to be like that. But when, again, you've just been through what you've been through and you go through a bit, you know that when you get that feeling, when you get it definitely should be poured down the drain, Michael, as well, right? That stuff is horrible. No one should ever drink that shit. So basically, when you feel what you feel, and you know when you actually do step out of a comfort zone, you go and execute on that task or that progression in business or whatever it may be in your personal life or business life, you'll know that it gets you far. I just execute it. I think there's a lot of people as well that will watch this recording and not just here with us now live, that know that it's resistance equals reward, but they still find it hard to move forward. Did anyone else shine any light on an element of resistance that you're faced with currently, or an example of something, and why you don't want to move forward, and give us a sense from your own situation, or just an example of what anyone's situation might be like to show?
I had resistance on bringing a trainer on, purely from like letting go of some of the control and that sort of thing, and how the sessions would be delivered, and if it would be delivered to the same quality and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then wanting to be like having to be represented by someone else, and then not being able to sort of oversee all of that sort of stuff at once.
Yeah.
That was where I had heaps of resistance at first. Yeah.
How did you get over it, brother?
Just had to do it. Like, and then had to come to terms with it. And then when I'd see things come up that I did want to be done differently, just approach them. And then, yeah, I don't know, just sort of learn through the fire of it all, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
I think,
just, yeah.
I think that the one thing that all you guys have as it's not a blessing, because you guys have chosen to create it. You have a mentorship with someone who has, luckily in your craft, been there, done it, and got the t-shirt. Like I always say, that enables me to take my t-shirt off and put on yours, right? Or put on your back. And I just spoke to a guy before, right? This guy's, he will be joining and coming on board probably tomorrow. This guy is a beast. This guy is he's in a good life facility. He's got nearly 15 to 20 years experience. He wants to be able to learn how to crush through the ceiling. And he just said that I just want someone to be there who, and he said, for me, it was you. I could relate to the content of some of the testimonials of some of you guys or whatever. And it was face-to-face, how to scale, how to hire staff. I just want to have my hand held, is what he said to me. You guys have that. When you've got someone there, it's easier. Hell, there's no way Tane would have ever hired a trainer. There's no way Jack in the near future, fuck Jack, no way you'd be where he is today if it wasn't for having the advice. And again, this isn't like shine a light on me, it's not, but everyone that I work with, you're working with someone who's been there, done it, got a t-shirt, so I can show you how to get there. What I feel for is the people that don't have support, right? These people, and there's a lot of people that I'm speaking to now, and this will relate to you and your clients, guys, right? These guys that don't have a PT, they don't have a mentor for professional reasons, right? And for their businesses. The people that have to do it on their own, the people that don't have a community of today of about 15 people, right? Here, they don't have that. These are the people that struggle more than ever to move forward, right? Because they don't have a positive person to cry, a shoulder to cry on, to bounce off, to get them to pull the trigger, to take the leap of faith, to hire the trainers, right? And to do what needs to be done. So I think for me, again, it's one of these things where anything in terms of where there is resistance, just know that there is always going to be reward. And if it scares you, here, fuck it. You need to be able to embrace failure with anything that you ever do. If you don't fail, you're never learning.
I think it comes down to, honestly, like, what is the worst that can happen as well? You know what I mean? There's like, you can always get yourself out of a situation, and it's just, why not take the risk kind of thing?
Yeah, look, you can always go back to where you came from. I say this to people about, like, friends back home. People are like, oh man, I wish I could go to Australia. Get on a fucking plane, right? Get on a plane, right? Alex is doing it. He's moving across here soon, right? I'd like, man, just get on a plane, dude. What do you mean you can't do it? And then the excuses that, oh yeah, but the COVID tax on flights, yeah, it's gone up, as they go out in the evenings buying cartons of VB, right? Saying they can't afford it. Fucking, like, I mean, look, this is the excuses that people come up with because there's resistance. Look, because it's 24 hours on an airplane, I'm fucking glad this place that most of us are in is 24 hours away, because you don't realize how good this country is, guys. I'm telling you that right now, compared to the UK and the US. But anyway, getting off topic, like just do it. You just have to do it. And then there will be little voices, there will be things talking to you. And I guarantee every single one of you that there's any form of resistance in your business with anything. And when you actually just do it, right? You'll come through and you'll go, I should have done that so much earlier. There's a lot of people that always say that. But again, still, it's so hard to come to terms with. I'm still trying to, I'm struggling today to take it to a more deeper level. Like, for what I've said so far is just fucking get on with it, guys, basically, and do it, yeah? It's not as simple as that for some people. It really isn't as simple as that at all. Like, some people have crippling levels of disbelief in themselves, anxiety, that really are hard to come to terms with a lot of the time. Could anyone want to share anything, like, in terms of like anxiety or anything like that? If anyone think that they can, Charmaine, you want to share something? Go for it. What, like, stuff that makes you fucking scared to be able to even get out of bed or take action at all? Like, 'cause it's very common.
When I first started PT, I had imposter syndrome. I talked to my therapist at the time about it. It's really weird. Like, it almost feels like you're not meant to be there, or they're going to find out that you're a shit PT or something like that. And some days you're going to have higher anxiety than other days. Like, some days I'll have little anxiety. I'm like, yes, let's like take on the world. And then other days I'll have a little bit more anxiety or higher anxiety, and everything's a little bit harder.
Yeah, I love that. I think the way that we can take this is, like, we'll talk about topics that are examples of resistance. The one way to get over all of them, guys, is to just get on with it and just try your hardest to just jump, right? But make sure that when you jump, you've got a parachute on your back and you've got someone that can navigate you to a drop zone, which isn't in the middle of the fucking sea, right? Because otherwise you're going to be screwed and you're going to get eaten by sharks, right? That there is huge. It's huge, Charmaine. Like, what if my clients, and I feel really upset hearing stuff like that. Like, what if my clients don't think I'm good enough? Yeah. Has anyone ever thought that about themselves before? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nate, you got anything to add, brother?
Yeah, well, in regards to anxiety, I used to, Simon, I've every now and then come up with me, like, huge issues with anxiety in the past and whatnot. And for psychologists later, you found a few different methods to help just ground myself and bring me into the situation now. And I still, every now and then, I get it a lot more now. If I've just had a coffee in the morning, I can feel like, a bit anxious about today and whatnot. But I'm just like, well, that's the coffee making me, overthink certain things. So calm yourself. But I'll even find it now with clients, if I'm about to be 3 or 4 clients back to back, and every now and then I'll just get a thought thing. I don't know if I'll be able to help this person today or show them something new. Yeah. And I'll get stressed for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is a bit worrisome. But then my best thing is like, well, what can I do about that right now? So I'll always try and be proactive. So the best thing I can do is pre-plan some sort of a workout, and then other than that, I think, oh well, there's nothing else I can really do about that at the present moment. So wherever I'd say is wherever my feet is, so wherever I am at any point in time, that's where I'm going to put my most energy into. I'm not there at that moment in time yet with that client, so I can't worry about it. I can't do anything else. So right now, best I can do is write a program and work on myself in any way at the moment that's going to help me feel better later in time. And 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, you get to that moment and it's like, well, it's not a big deal anyway.
That's exactly right, bro. You hit the nail on the head. I think you can only focus on stuff that you can control, right? So if you think that other people are going to think, right? And a lot of this, I keep saying think, it's because it's in your head. This is the most of the time, guys. Anxiety cripples people. And anxiety makes you think things that is not there. It's not there. They're not real, but it will fucking feel like they're real because you're thinking it, right? So you've got to come to a point and think like, I can focus on what I can control. And I love what Nathan said there. Then if you've got a PT session in 2 hours and you're like, shit, this is a client who's like, they're really good. I've shown them all the aces up my sleeve, right? Fuck, like what can I do to keep giving this person value, right? Well, what you can first and foremost focus on is you can focus on to get prepared for that moment, for that person. And then you'll realize when you're actually prepared, right? Not that you never are prepared, but you're even more prepared than ever, that when you actually deliver the session for them, right, that they weren't actually thinking at all, this guy's not good enough. And they'll probably end up giving you some feedback saying it was one of the best sessions they've ever had. So it's very hard to not get consumed by disbelief and anxiety, whether it's in a social sense or whether it's in a professional sense. It can cripple you. But know as well that, again, it all relates back to being a way of resistance and the way the world shows you that nothing's worth doing unless it makes you feel nervous at all. At all. Like, no shit. If it doesn't scare you, Alex, what have we just accomplished? What did you send me?
Hey guys, yeah, I sent him some videos that needed critique. Took me about 3 weeks to send it to him.
3 fucking years, man.
I don't want to send that he's going to critique me, obviously. I needed it.
Yeah.
But right now, like this, I know it's off business. The butterflies haven't stopped because I moved into Australia. I've never been, or well, I've been when I was a kid, but I've never moved to a different country. I'm fucking shitting myself, you know, like, yeah. But I'm making the decision. It's about their mind flexibility. And that's where I'm at the moment. Is the more risk I take, the more growth I'm going to create. So yeah, that's panicking at the moment, but I'm just going to take action. Exactly.
I love it. And I'll never forget this, bro. I do see this a lot with a lot of other people. Again, this is purely business sense. And this is what we're here to discuss, obviously, is business. But this is personal as well, this sense of resistance and anxiety. Alex goes to me this morning, I need to send more videos. So he got over the fear of recording himself and he sent these 2 videos, right? And I watched the first part of the first one and I could sense there was nerves there because he'd hit the record button for the first time. But then I gave him feedback in 2 minutes out of like, one of them was shorter than the other one. I haven't listened to the longer one. I'll get to them though, because that's what I'm here to do. If it means I need to take 10 minutes and watch a video or whatever it may be, I'm going to do it because Alex won't move forward as quickly as he could do have I take this time to help him, right? Or had I take this time to help him. So I'm going to do it. But I gave Alex within 2 minutes 2 fundamental key pieces of advice about language and what he was doing and what he was saying. And he went, fuck, I need to do more videos. So he's overcome that sense of like resistance of doing them straight away, even though it was so uncomfortable, but he then sees the reward instantly. The reward of when the extra 80%, and we've just done the first 20% by sending those first 2 videos, bro. Do the extra 8 more videos, whatever it is, we come and polish together a refined process for you. Your conversion rate will go from freaking here to here, man. And that is resistance equals reward. It's that simple. Like I've always said, you got to embrace everything. You got to embrace all of this it might even feel like you're failing. Well, hell, you could say at the moment, because we didn't convert one person, that was a failure, right? And you've got to then share that failure with someone. Man, that's gonna provide you with resistance. But you got to know, obviously, as we do know, that the goal is to come out the other side and be rewarded, right? And you know, you're not going to go through that sense of what you might feel is humiliating for you, right? No, like, fuck shit, I don't want to let Simon see like what I'm actually doing. Fuck, man, I want to fucking see it. I don't care how bad it is, because I want to help you through it. And then when you do come through it, there's the reward attached to the resistance in the first place. Everything is resistance equals reward. So, and this is again from someone who's confident as hell in Alex and is freaking good at what he does. So it can come from anyone. I don't think anyone's ever above resistance and levels of disbelief at all. All of you guys can go through elements from time to time of not believing in yourself, not thinking you're good enough. Do you know what I mean? Embrace them and just remind yourself that's your head telling you. It's the way the world's trying to scare you, right? It's trying to scare you. I keep saying it, but resistance equals reward, big time. Big time.
Can I just add something in, Simon?
Yeah.
So I think, so the biggest thing for me, I went through this anxiety stage as well. So half of year 12, I probably didn't do, because I went to school and my head was just in this place where I thought, you know, I'm not good enough. Everyone's looking at me. And I would just stress out. I'd like fucking go and cry in the bathroom and have to go home, bro. It was like, it was one of that stages where it was like, you can't even talk to the cashier at the shops because you're thinking about what are they thinking of me. But I think biggest thing for me that for these guys suffering with it is that you look around and you look at yourself and you remind yourself of the impact that you're having on like other people's lives and what you're choosing to do with your life. And it's just like, fuck man, I'm helping so many other people. Look at other people that are my age, same age, doing shit like going out partying every weekend, but you need to remind yourself you're having such a positive impact on other people's lives that you're doing something right, for sure.
Yeah. Remind yourself of that stuff, guys. It's well said, talking. Like you just it's very hard to take time in the moment, right? When you're feeling anxious and your levels of disbelief are through the roof. But take time whenever you can to remind yourself that what you're doing is you're trying to change people, right? That should motivate you in itself. You know what I mean? There's people I'm thinking about, clients that will watch this on record in the UK for sure, and some other people that when they watch this, that they'll relate to this massively. There's so many external forces as well outside of business that will apply pressure to things that happen within inside the business walls. Like this is not, it's completely natural. And that's what, again, what you're feeling is completely natural, right? Don't overthink things. Don't pile too much pressure on yourself. Take time. Like if you need to, just remove yourself from the environments that are putting you under pressure sometimes. Take a deep breath. Again, get your shoulder that you've got there to cry on, whether it's a business coach, whether it's your partner, whether it's, you know, family, friends, and just vent to them, like get it out. Like it's and it is something else as well. The harder you have to fight, right? And the more challenging things are, the bigger the resistance, the bigger the reward, right? That's what really motivates me. As someone who can, you know, can tackle what they think they can tackle everything. I thrive off things making me scared. I thrive off it. I haven't had the same feeling of when I had to run a floor walk, right, for the first time, and I got a clipboard and I walked around the floor. I haven't had that feeling, that sense of crippling shitting myself in years. I haven't, like there hasn't been many times at all, to be honest with you. But I remember, I thrive off that. The bigger, so if you're really in a bad spot, the bigger the reward is going to be. Like Charmaine, we were in a bad place a few weeks ago, and we don't have to get into the intimates, right? And the details, but you know, things weren't cool, right? And now she's like, I'm going to sign these people up, and it's like sign 1, sign 2, sign 3. I thought I was going to sign 3 this week. I'm now upping that to 4, and then you'll go, oh, have you got 4 now? Not quite, but you want 4 anyway.
1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday. I'm just putting it out to the universe.
That's exactly what you have to do. But like only a couple of weeks ago, it's very hard. It's very, very hard to think, fuck man, like It's hard to overcome the position that you're in, and that was personal stuff. Yeah. So there's so many elements that can make you feel down, but just remember you'll get up. But it's hard to get up when you are down. You know what I mean? Just push. Like the other side of this as well is when the tasks are the tasks don't make you scared. So this is another interesting one. Don't make you nervous, but there is some form of like, why the hell can I not just do it? The most common thing is with Tane, Dan Pardo, Jono here, like all you guys, like having so much social media content and just not fucking posting it. You're not scared, right? Are you scared of posting Tane? Are you scared of it? No. Look at the fucking the interactions when you post. I said the same thing to Jono here as well. I was like, man, what are you even worried about? It's not like that you're worried, but there's some form of procrastination. Look at procrastinating, guys, as another form of resistance, right? Even if it's like, and I get this shit. I get it with like when I have to speak with like ASIC, and it's a pain in the fucking ass to speak with government authorities like ASIC. When you have a company, it's a fucking pain in the ass, right? But that is another form of resistance. So I have to go on hold for like an hour and a half, then the phone cuts off and you're like I've just put an hour and a half into this shit on hold and just to have nothing happen, right? And then I could send them a quick email, but it takes too long. Just do it. Just do it. I sometimes let my emails bank up and it's like, don't just get to them, but then I remove all the dud ones and then there's like 15 left that require action or a bit of attention. And I'm like, can't be asked doing these freaking emails, right? But like they might require me to print something and sign it, or you know what I mean? Like, just do it. And I tell you, when I get that email inbox down to 0, which lasts about 2 minutes, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling, but push through and do all these admin tasks, the small tasks. Again, ironically, guys, same thing as social media content, business tracking. It is the most boring thing ever you can do, but it is ironic. It is so ironic, right? The most successful clients I have all have trackers to me every single week without fail. And not one of them are on this call. Just saying. Just saying, right? I'm telling you, I could almost bet my life on it, right? I wouldn't go that far, but I could bet you guys' success on it for sure. No tracker, no big scale. You won't get that, guaranteed. Impossible, because it shows that we're not focusing enough on the areas that need the growth, right? Which is, again, consults in the door, leads generated, conversion, to, like I said, scale. You can get to 6 figures about a business tracker, no problem, it's easy. But when we're talking like 200K, 250, 3, and like upwards, $500,000 more, you're not going to get there. It's not, are you scared of doing a business task? No. Of a business tracker? No. You're not scared of doing it. Like you might be scared of other things, but I can guarantee you the resistance is there. Maybe when you've had a bad week and you don't want to confront yourself with the numbers, right? It's not always about being scared. It's confronting yourself with things, a different side to this, right? Lack of belief stuff. Confronting yourself with, I'm not in a position I want to be in, therefore I'll put this business tracking task off the table. My internet's a little bit dodgy. Am I back? Did you get that, guys? No, you did get it. Some people got it, some people didn't. But business tracking, like reluctancy to doing business tracking. I'm telling you, it doesn't scare you, but reluctancy to do it will mean that you will actually, ironically, not achieve the higher heights. So anxiety can cripple people physically and mentally, but all of these tasks like social media posting, doing business trackers and small things that, look, let's be honest, I said this to a few people this week, like you can actually look at the bank will tell you the numbers that you got in your business this week. Look at your calendar, it will tell you everything. But summarizing it in one sheet, summarizing it in a tracker enables you to oversee everything on a big level. That shit can provide you with resistance. But again, you won't come through and get the reward unless you actually do the things. Make the time to do it. Yeah, Charmaine, you want to say something?
It's funny for me because I'm actually terrified of not growing and I'm terrified of settling. But then I also get the resistance with different things, obviously the anxiety or like you said, the procrastination. Some days I'm just like stare into space for like 5 minutes and have resistance about particular things. That's why it's so important for me to create that list and try to tick it off. Otherwise you have all this shit in your head that you have to do and you're like, oh my God, like where do I start?
Yeah, no, I love that.
I don't know whether anyone else has the same.
Yeah, does anyone else have that? I think my internet's shit.
Your internet's dropping out a little bit again.
Yeah, hang on one second. Dum, dum, dum.
You have that list and you can start ticking it off and you feel like you've accomplished something by going through that list. But if you don't have it, you just get overwhelmed with everything.
Yep.
And then you don't do anything.
I feel the same. Your internet dropped out. I don't know whether it was mine or yours, Simon.
No, it's mine. It's mine. It's not yours. It's mine. No, look, I got you. I got you though. I heard everything. I'm just trying to see if I can sort it out. Yeah. Yeah. So how? Like, we'll finish off, I think, guys, with this, right? How do you overcome? Rather than just doing things. So you mentioned there, Charmaine, about making lists, right? Making a list and ticking things off. What advice would you give people about how to overcome things rather than just being a bull and just charging at stuff? Because no one, unless you've got support and a shoulder to cry on who's continuously telling you to do something and do something, do something, and eventually you'll go, okay, you do it, and you go, why didn't I do that earlier? Why didn't I do that sooner, right? If you don't have that resource, how would you overcome things? How would you overcome it?
For me, outside of you and I like to journal or write things down, obviously what things I'm scared of, and then potentially the emotion that's attached to it. Like break it down. Why am I so afraid of it? If it's kind of really nothing and it's just kind of all in my head, then I need to kind of overcome that fear and actually step into that resistance. Because the more you don't take action, the more the anxiety builds.
Yes. So confront yourself with it even more, even though it's not nice.
And then you feel good. You're like, oh my God, I actually did it. And then your comfort zone is like this, and you're slowly expanding your comfort zone, your growth zone. That's what I call it.
That is it.
I find when you journal it down and write it down like that too, Charmaine, you can get to where the actual core of where it's coming from a lot easier. Whereas like when it's in your head, it's like you get so caught up in how it feels. And it's just too much. Then you write it down. It's like, oh, actually, it's coming from like this. It could be like just some sort of anxiety that you've had for like a long time, or some sort of childhood stuff, or that sort of stuff, right?
A lot of trauma and things like that can be attached to it. And then you never know, something yesterday could have happened that's creating the anxiety for you today. And it's not actually the thing, training a person or whatever you have to do that's creating the anxiety. Might be something else. Motivational videos really help me as well. With stuff like that, if I'm feeling quite anxious or unmotivated, I'll listen to motivational videos, and that makes me feel like, okay, I can do this and take action.
Yeah. And you look, once you see that core issue, I find it's easier. I don't know about you, but it's easier to shift your perspective on it, because then a lot of the time it's not the thing that's actually giving you anxiety. It's some sort of deeper issue, and then it's easier to sort of shift your mindset around whatever that thing is that you have to do too.
Exactly. And then obviously, one of the guys mentioned before as well, like coffee and stuff like that can increase your anxiety. For me, it does a lot. So it's being aware of those stimulus, your journaling, and then meditation as well, just to help calm your mind a little bit better with that sort of stuff, so you can actually think clearly.
I think as well, it's just about finding the priorities as well, because if you do your priorities first, that's probably what's causing the most stress, is those tasks that are really, really tough. As you just make your way down that list, it just gets easier and easier, because the easier things come along. So it's doing those things that really do make you scared first, because the rest of your day is set up then. You can just smash everything else out. For sure.
Yeah, because we can procrastinate around that big priority at the top.
Yeah.
We'll do all these little things and go, we're still getting stuff done, but we're having anxiety about it because we're not doing the priority first, top of the list.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think like this is a really good way to wrap it up, because we're coming to some solutions here that people can obviously take advice from or take some learnings from about how to overcome them, right? How to overcome them, confront them continuously. Don't have to take action and charge through resistance, right? But thinking about things continuously, I think, and this is maybe one way I subconsciously deal with things so easily, is because I'm always thinking about them, and then when I actually take action with them, the action just happens. Like, I don't ever expect people to, when there's resistance, just act straight away. Like you've said, journal them, write them down, confront things head on. Don't have to act, but just get familiar with looking fear in the face. Get familiar with that. And when you familiarize yourself with it, eventually you'll just go, all right, I'm gonna fucking come for you now. And then you just try and go through them. That's what I think would be how I probably do deal with things. I just, you know, I forecast ahead. So when I know there's going to be resistance, I'm going to encounter, right? I go, okay, I'm going to encounter this soon. So I start thinking about it, start thinking about it, start thinking about it, start thinking about it. When it's here right in front of my face, go through it straight away, rather than not like avoid it. And then it's there and it's like, oh my God, I can't. And, you know, a lot of this stuff, it cripples people, and it's horrible to see, because so many people with such good potential just don't ever thrive, or they can't ever move forward because of this anxiety stuff within business. But there are many ways, like we discussed, of how to overcome them. Is there anything else, guys? Yeah, I think today was always going to be on time, which is great, relatively short and sweet. I think we talked about the moral of the story is confrontation. Confront yourself with the procrastination, and confront yourself with the hardship and the discomfort, and then take action to go through it. But having people there will obviously be a shoulder to bounce off. Is
I've got something I can add?
Yeah, go for it.
Tom. Well, for me, it's a bit of a shout out to Alex. The other week, he was talking about Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
And after that, because I used to listen to a lot of that stuff years ago, and I went back and I'm like, right, ditch the music, no more listening to stuff like that when I'm training. And I've just been listening to lots of Bob Proctor, John Assaraf, and a lot of motivational stuff as I'm training. And even in the car now, that's all I'm listening to when I'm driving to and from work. Like you know, I went and unpacked a box under the house the other day, and I've probably got at least 100 personal development books in that. I've pulled a pile out about that thick to start reading through. So every day I'm reading through that, because it's getting this thing sorted out. Get the brain sorted out. And when you talk about risk versus reward, like that resistance with reward, since I've been listening to that stuff, I'm more focused on what I want. And like, you know, what's happened, I've gone out looking for places to do the Evolt scans at. I've gone to probably 10 or 12 gyms and get offered a job in a new gym.
Very ironic you say that.
I walked in there to go and do body scans, and they said, do you want to come and do PT? So now we're looking at that. So it's just, I met a mate years ago talking about personal development. People say, oh, you're getting brainwashed with that stuff. And he's like, good. You need a good bloody brainwash to flush that shit out of your head and get it all sorted out. And that's what it is. It's about dealing with the shit you got going on up here, sorting it out. And when it comes to that anxiety about, oh, I'm scared to do these things, and you build it up in your own head, it's because you're building up in your own head. There's a book I read years ago, and it was, I can't remember the name, it'll be downstairs. But basically the book was saying, I'm scared to do this, I'm building it up, sit down, think about it and go, is that going to matter in 100 years? Is what's happening right now going to matter in 100 years? And if it doesn't, fuck it.
Yeah.
It does not matter. So why build it up in your head? Just go and get the shit done and do it.
Even a year later, that's a great one, man. I love that. Like I always say to people this, man, the stuff that you dwell on right now and the stuff that you make a big deal, in a year's time from now, you'll go, oh, do you remember when we were at that little hurdle that we couldn't get over? Now look at us. It's so true. It's so true. That like, and you can apply that to anything, whether you're arguing with your freaking partner about who didn't do the freaking dishes or who didn't change as many nappies as what they should have done. Fuck, man. Like this, it's really not worth arguing that shit. It's not worth arguing about at all. You're just wasting time. And then again, it's frustration, it's resistance in the present. But is it, like Michael said, in 100 years is going to matter? Like even a year from now, you'll forget about it and you'll go, oh yeah, I remember that time. it's a learning curve, part of learning, isn't it? Like, and the personal development books as well. That's really 2 golden nuggets that Michael's dropped in there. Those are huge, and I think a lot of people here like to read. It's about getting everything in here straight, and then again, that it might have been something that Michael read that made him take action. And you know, we took some action recently. Michael's gone out to go and get his Evolt body scanner into locations, and he's been offered a job where there's a potential opportunity for him to double his business, let's say, into this second location. You can't, this stuff doesn't create itself. You can relate all of that back to him reading the book, or getting up off his ass and going out there to do something completely unrelated, but has resulted in him being able to help more people through going into a new location. You might not know where it's going to come from, but there will become a circuit breaker to all the bad shit that goes on for you taking some form of action or confronting yourself.
If anyone is looking for another person to just kind of watch and mimic, I've been getting into Nick Bear. I don't know if anyone's heard of him before. He's the owner of BPN Supplements, and he's based in America. And what he does, he's on YouTube as well. So he just documents his life. So he's started his business 10 years ago, and he's like an elite athlete as well. So he's juggling with training morning and night, running a supplement company. He's a dad, and he's just to a T. His day is just fucking scoped out, and he knows what he's got to do, and he's really, really motivating. So he's got a podcast as well on Spotify. It's called the Bear Performance Podcast. So if anyone wants to jump on that and give that a listen, it's a really good listen.
Yeah, go into the chat there, bro, and just write his name down if you can, so the guys can see it. But I mean, there's plenty of way. Like, surround yourself with positive people as well. Like, you know, if you surround yourself with 5 positive people, or how we have 9 positive people left on the screen here, right? You surround yourself with these 9, you'll become the 10th, guaranteed. You can't be like negative through hanging around with positive people. You can't, but you will be negative if you hang around with 5 negative people or 9 negative people. And it is that simple, right? It is that simple.
Otherwise known as my family.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you could call them negative if you wanted to, brother. Give me.
Funny how you said, bro, also about like, will it matter in a year? Like, just real quick, I stumbled across a journal writing entry that I did literally. I'm looking at it at the moment. It was the 24th of October last year, and I was like feeling flat, unmotivated, wasn't sure about scaling, so we couldn't find a trainer, wasn't sure whether or not should move gym locations. I just had no drive to train or anything else, and that was a year ago. Like,
that's quite freaky.
Compared to where we're at now, it's like, yeah, it's just I forgot that I'd even felt like that, and I stumbled on it yesterday, and it was like, yeah, buzzy, man.
That right there again, ironically, it's nearly a year to the day. It's like 4 or 5 days off, right?
Yeah.
That is right there. It's law of attraction at its best, and again, that's come up in this topic of conversation on today's webinar, and hopefully that can again just help people. Like, wherever you feel like you are now, guarantee you won't feel like that if you do one of the things potentially, or your own way of coping that we've discussed today. You won't be there for long, and in the future it won't really matter shit. So hopefully it motivates you to all, you know, charge through shit. When you see shit and see resistance, charge through it. And all of you guys here at the moment are in a great place with your business. I mean, we're doing things where we're happy, and it's that simple. So keep bringing it on, guys, and keep being positive, I guess. And that's it for today. Is there anything else that anyone wants to discuss? We're good. All right, sweet. I'll touch base with more people on Vox. Is there any more people in SA? No, it's just Nath. I might see you next week, Nath. We'll see. All right. All right. Speak to you soon, guys. Let's go.